Good morning, and thank you so much for joining us here on Focus on South Texas. I'm your host, Camilla Rambaldi. So what better way to start your day with some music? I have a very special guest with me from the Symphonic Orchestra. I'm here with Dr. Ronnie Sanders. He is the founder and artistic director. How are you today?
Tremendous, thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Glad to be here.
Awesome. Well, you have a very impressive history here with how everything worked out. I kind of want to know, you've conducted in Carnegie Hall. If you can just tell us a little bit of background and what gave you the idea to start the new orchestra?
Sure. Classically trained here in Texas, received an education and have always been in the field of orchestral music, writing for it or conducting it. And I was given the opportunity, asked to conduct in New York and Carnegie Hall several years ago, and that was a fun gig. And the acoustics are pretty impressive. Born and raised in San Antonio, I wanted to bring something that of an orchestral, but a volunteer musical group to San Antonio. And so that's what gave me the idea to start the new orchestra.
That's truly impressive. And, you know, you mentioned to me about some auditions and whatnot. What exactly are you guys looking for, and what is some of that talent that you guys are pinpointing?
The vision behind the South Texas Symphonic Orchestra is to give trained musicians an opportunity to perform who may not have an orchestra to call home. When you talk to musicians all the time, a lot of times this phrase will come up, well, let's just do it for the fun of it. Let's just get together and play for the fun of it. And so that's what this orchestra is about, getting musicians together who love to play, who know how to play, who are skilled in their craft, but maybe teachers, they may be retirees, they are not able to join a professional orchestra, but they still love to play. And so the orchestra was formed just for people to play just simply for the love of music.
And anyone, I guess, of all ages can join? Is there like a limit of what you guys are looking for?
We've asked for 18 years old or older, so it's an adult volunteer community orchestra.
Awesome. And one thing I didn't want to mention that people should know is that you earned a Grammy Signature Award for Excellence in Music Education in 2010 and again in 2016. That is really impressive. What was that all like?
Thank you. I am the Fine Arts Director at Thomas Jefferson High School here in San Antonio, and Jefferson won 2 Grammy Awards for Excellence in Music Education. So the school's pretty proud about that.
I bet. That is awesome. And I know we talked about the auditions, but when do those auditions actually start?
This weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then next weekend. And all you have to do is go to the website and look, all the details are there.
And of course, we will be posting that on our own website, so it's easy for people to get access to it. So you have a very interesting concert season lined up. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. I wanted to provide the musicians a wonderful variety of music to play. And so the first concert coming up is, I'm calling it A Night in Old Vienna. So we're having music from Beethoven, Schubert, Mozart, and so it's a wonderful classically oriented concert. And the second concert is going to be our Christmas kind of like Pops concert, and so I haven't programmed that one yet, but we'll probably have, you know, the great songs of the season, and maybe Santa just might show up, you know, that kind of thing, and maybe something from Tchaikovsky's the famous music that they always play. And the next one is a tribute to Aaron Copland in February. And Aaron Copland's a wonderful American composer, so we're hoping to do an Americana concert where we have music from Aaron Copland, other famous American composers, and we hope to invite some of the trainees from Lackland to participate, to be there as a way to show our support for them and show them our appreciation for their service, and maybe play music for the Air Force. So that would be fun too. The last concert we're calling Texas Comes to Broadway, where Broadway comes to Texas. I got it backwards. Sorry. Broadway comes to Texas, where the great Broadway musicals will perform many of their great songs from Broadway.
That's something you don't want to miss. And one thing I definitely want to ask you is, you know, music plays such an important role in our lives. And what would you say is just the true meaning behind all this, especially, you know, with the orchestra coming to San Antonio?
There's a deep within all of us that desire to express oneself. However it may be with hair, clothes, makeup, or voice, or writing. Or for the artist, there's an old saying, Camilla, the artist has to paint. And what that means is, part of being an artist is you have to create your art. For a composer, they have to compose. For a musician, they have to perform. And it's, you know, you can support your family and do what you need to do during the day, but for some, they just have to perform the great, classical music. So that's what the idea of the orchestra is: give people a place who are trained musically to come together and perform just for the love of music, like I said.
And speaking of the love of music, I know coming up in the show, there's some musicians that are going to be performing. If you can tell me a little bit about what they're going to play for us.
Sure. Aaron Copland was a famous American composer, and he was born in 1900 and died in 1989, I think. And he was probably the quintessential American embodiment of American music, in the 20th century. And so one of the concerts is going to be music that is attributed to him. But so what they're going to play today what you're going to hear is an old song from the 20s called Ching-a-Ring Chaw. And it's usually sung, but there's a wonderful woodwind quintet arrangement that we decided to play today. So that's what you guys are going to hear.
Yeah, I feel like I wouldn't be able to say the name of it at all. How do you say it again?
Ching-a-Ring Chaw is the name of the piece of music.
I'll have to try to remember that one.
Okay.
And how many musicians normally you guys have, perform a song like that's coming up?
Well, our first rehearsal, since it's a brand new orchestra, we haven't even gotten together yet. So actually what you're going to hear today is the first embodiment of people getting together to play music. So I've selected 5. We could have probably had around 40, but as space allows, we'll have just 5. That's all we had room for. But I anticipate anywhere from 40 to 60 musicians will perform.
That's amazing. And I got a sneak peek of it a little bit earlier, and I thought it was fantastic, and I'm sure our viewers will think the same. That's really awesome that you brought them on the show. And is there anything else that you would like to talk to us about, just how, people can get involved, and anything else that they need to know about?
Absolutely, Camilla. We'll need people to help take tickets, people to help backstage, setting up the music stands and things like that. So we'd love to have other volunteers come together who may not play an instrument, but who love the arts and who want to support the arts. And this would be a great way to volunteer to be a part of that. And on the website is all the details about how somebody can volunteer or contact the orchestra for more information.
Well, obviously you are, I'm sure everyone is just so incredibly proud of all your accomplishments and everything you're contributing to San Antonio. Just one last question for you, just what does it feel to see, something that's coming so far and really bringing the community together, I would say?
Well, I'm thoroughly enjoying it because it started out as just a vision, just a kernel of an idea. What if we had another volunteer orchestra in San Antonio? It just started as an idea.
Right.
And then over the last year, maybe 2 years, we began to refine the details and this, and what about this, and how could we possibly do this? Well, we can't do this because of this. And so I just, early in February, I thought about having an orchestra in 2018, starting it in 2018. Mm-hmm. And then in February, these 2 words came to my mind in a weird, quirky, mystical kind of way. And it was, why wait?
Right.
And why wait? And so I thought to myself, hey, that's a great idea. Why wait? So that's when everything went into place. We got our website lined up. We had our business lined up, checking account, all that. And so now people, for the first time today, you've seen the first people actually play music for the South Texas Symphonic Orchestra.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Ronnie, for being on the show today.